We've got an amazing guest in studio with us right now. His name is Galston Anthony. And I tell you what, I'm going to, address the elephant in the room immediately, Mr. Anthony. Your eyes. And I'm sure you get this everywhere.
Every day, everywhere. But I got to take you a couple steps back because you got to say my full name. The full name, I've got a whole Isitakazelo as well,
Galston Anthony, the best to ever do it.
Yep, that's him.
That's there it is. All right, now explain the eyes.
You guys might be the first ones for me to explain it this way. I was born with brown eyes, and what happened is that my dad, I got two sides of the family, black and what they call colored. Now on the black side, my parents, my dad's eyes started turning blue, but a different type of blue to what people are used to when old people turn blue.
Yeah.
But then two of his brothers, one is late, they were born with blue eyes. So I started getting crazy eyes, which is a very, very, very rare phenomenon. So one eye started going crazy. So I just went up to a doctor, ophthalmologist, and they sent me to a different country. And they said, you know what, let's just get your eyes to be even until you get to a certain age, and we'll keep making sure that they look one color. And blue was that color.
Oh, it was just to confirm that those are not contacts that you have on there. So from the stage to the boardroom and now into, I wouldn't say politics, but the candidacy for the Joburg Mayor is up for grabs. And this man is going to compete for that very position. South African entrepreneur, media personality, podcaster, Galston Anthony, the best to ever do it. The best to ever do it. Is stepping into a new chapter. He's preparing to launch a Shark Tank style initiative aimed at giving young urban entrepreneurs capital, mentorship, and the chance to break through barriers. At the same time, he's announced his candidacy for Mayor of Johannesburg with a campaign rooted not in party politics, but in practical solutions for job creation, accountability, and community empowerment. Before we get into the Joburg mayoral candidacy,
let's start light.
Start light.
Start light.
When did you come to South Africa? I think that's where we can start.
That's the question. So I've been here for more than 30 years. I'm turning 40 in a couple weeks. The big 40. Big 40.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I intend to travel the world. I don't really celebrate birthdays, but I've had this idea. If y'all know Hangover, I want to do Hangover. Not remember what happened, but I've got videos. I got videos of what happened, in a couple of different countries. But I've been here for most of my life, and this is the interesting part: is that I was born in South Africa, and then I left very, very, very early. Went to the United States. Went to Mozambique as well for 1 year, in the United States for a lot more years, and then came back and spent all that time here. Wow. So how it ended up that I still sound like this is a mystery to me. I guess I didn't integrate with society that much.
You didn't go to Guamaimai there to eat the bride meat.
What's Guamaimai?
Guamaimai is a taxi rank. It's a Shisanyama spot.
Okay.
Right, close to by a taxi rank in Johannesburg. Right, and that's where we come together. We eat bride meat and have conversations.
Okay, so the last time I was at a taxi rank. Oof.
Oh, was it a problem? What happened?
Oh no, there was not like there was any problems. But the last time I was there was probably 2 decades ago. Probably a lot of things has changed since. Yeah.
That's a lifetime ago.
Yeah, back in the days when you want to go see your girlfriend and she lives in the township somewhere and the only way to get there is to use a taxi. Yep.
And you found the girl. You found the girl many years later. Galston Anthony, the best to ever do it, joining us in studio in his capacity as an entrepreneur, a podcaster, musician, media personality. But what's really interesting is all those titles are not each sold separately. All right. He's going to talk to us about how they all come together because he's, of course, launching a very important Shark Tank style, as it's been described, initiative that really is about youth empowerment. Okay, particularly in urban areas where it is needed the most. We're back after this.
Property is more than bricks and mortar. It's your pathway to security, growth, and freedom. Let Century 21 property professionals help you make smart moves in today's market. Our award-winning real estate agents combine world-class marketing with local expertise, helping you sell faster, buy smarter, and grow your investments. Visit century21.co.za and let's open the door to your next chapter.
This is The Upside for the best African vibes, groundbreaking content.
21 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. We're currently in conversation, joined live in studio by Mr. Galston Anthony, the best to ever do it.
You say that. Do you know how Zulu people get happy when you put the isitakazela?
Yeah.
So you're saying my isitakazela.
Yeah, that is so good. Okay, let's talk about, because I mentioned that I feel like everything that you're doing is really integrated, and it speaks to all your passions, and you've found a way to kind of bring it all to life as an entrepreneur, podcaster, your interest in travel, your interest in empowering people. I mean, I would assume that's based on what you're seeing on a daily basis. So, where did it all start? Did you start off with an entrepreneurial fire in you where you wanted to start a business and make a difference in that manner? Or did the music come first where you got the awakening, if I could use that term, to want to make a difference? So which came first, and how did you then formulate this wonderful sort of model that you live by?
Well, I could tell you it started in high school. So here's the interesting story. My dad, I grew up in a wealthy family, so I've been lucky from day one. But the problem with being my dad's child is that he didn't give me what wealthy kids get. I wasn't spoiled like, you didn't get everything. He just made things really tough for me. So when everybody had lunch money, the 5 rands at school, I would get nothing. I'd get a lunchbox, and I'd get laughed at and be like, you the rich one. We the ones got money. You don't. And that bothered me.
Wow.
And then every time I'd ask my parents for it, they didn't take the reasoning that I just need to get money. I need to work for it. So they started making me wash their cars. Now, the nice thing about my dad is that he paid me well if I wash a car. Okay. I got paid $30 back in 2001 for a car. That's under the condition that it's clean.
Yeah.
So he was strict about it, right? And back then SUVs were not a big thing, but he had SUVs. So I had to sit there and scrub them out and try to watch. Is it clean? No. Scrub them out, and then I'd get my 30 depending on how many cars I could wash. Back then I couldn't wash 5-6 cars in one day. I started off with one the whole day. Then when it was Monday, I'm balling out of control. And then what would happen is that there things like Jordans would come in and everything, and the time I was living in, Jordans weren't there, especially 2001. And the only time I would see Jordans is if we flew to the United States and my dad got a pair of sneakers and he got me the cheap ones and he got himself the Jordans, right? And he didn't care if it was Jordans or not. He was just wearing a pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to get me some Jordans. So I had to start washing my car, his car, my neighbor's car, went around the block, started washing people's cars, started making money, paid up $1,700 for a pair of Jordans. Now, Jordans were expensive back then, much more expensive than they were now. And then I had a friend, an Indian friend, who had DVDs. I think they were bootleg looking back. And he asked me to sell them, right? And I started selling DVDs and all. So it was all started in the family and friends that were neighbors and all. And I just found entrepreneurship from there. Because my dad would not hand me over money. I wish he did, But that's how it started.
You would have been spoiled if that was the case.
Yeah, he should have just done it. I would have been a happier kid.
Talk to us about, because we are pressed for time and want to get as much as we can out of you. Talk to us about this Shark Tank initiative. It sounds a fascinating one. Walk us through it and how you're going to roll it out.
Well, my Shark Tank initiative is attached to being the mayor contender, which we could talk about a bit later. But let me tell you about the Shark Tank initiative. So in my campaigning, I'm looking at South Africa. Now, given that I'm from a business family, generations on generations, there's some things that don't make sense to me. Now, look, I know how the economy is getting bankrupt. Sometimes you just don't want to say it because you're going to piss off, excuse that language, you're going to make the wrong people mad. So I don't want to find myself in that position. I just want to get things to work. So I'm like, you know what? The backbones of the economies is 2 people, middle class and entrepreneurs. Now, because I belong to the entrepreneur class, I'm like, they speak to me. So I said to myself, you know what? to show you that people can actually get to a place where the economy grows, what I'll do is just call 3 of my rich friends every 2 months. We say, look, we want to invest into the townships. People are going to come there, do their pitch. We're going to have 100 people. They're going to be surfed down to 10. Only listen to 10 that were chosen, and they have their pitch, and right there and then invest in them. And then the idea is to have 10% of their business also, depending on how much we invest. There will be a cap on the amount, right? It's more a small business thing. And then mentor them for the next 6 months, and then let them be. So it's making sure that the amount that is paid to them, it actually gets to work and actually works. And saying this is what a mayor does, you know, it's somebody who makes sure that the city grows. And so we're just setting up the date. It's going to be late November. Dates to be announced, but it's definitely in the last week of November from the 20th onwards.
Okay. We're going to unpack a little later because we want to keep you so you can talk to us about how that ties to your candidacy that's coming up in the year 2026. But I'm very interested in the G2G podcast and what that's about and what the big idea is. What is the big idea behind you podcasting? Because, you know, I mean, there's a myriad of them out there.
So I was where you were at about 2 decades ago. But it was mostly internet radio. And what happened is that when I started in the industry, I wanted to be, you know, front and center. I wanted to be on radio. I was a rapper, you know, a decent one at that. But I just never got to that place where I could blow. I actually came to the SABC a couple of times when TiVo Touch was still pretty new. And, you know, I had my a radio interview with him. This was back in 2005. But I just couldn't seem to get to a place where, you know, I became the next big thing. But then what started to happen is that all artists started using me. This is back when Late Jabba was still there. You know, you name them all. Even people that are still doing great now, like Casper, I've worked with them once or twice. And I just was always put in the back, and I accepted that positioning. I took some artists and made them mega stars, you know, around Africa. And I was like, it's been 2 decades in the game, and nobody knows I exist. I made my fair share of change in the background, good and well. But it's time that I tell the story. So I decided you know, do podcasting. And when I did, I just called anybody that I knew on the phone, whether it was a politician, whether it was famous, and they had enough respect for me to just pitch up to the venue as they should, and did it. And because I traveled all around the continent, I make some calls to those places. Hey, President so-and-so, I'm coming to see you. No problem, come in through. And we have that conversation. So they get it. The hard talk, because they're already familiar to my style. They know it's not going to be an easy one. Hey, so how you been? Nope, it's going to be hard. So they've accepted me there. And 2025 January 8th is when I started. So I'm 10 months in. And yeah, it's been blown up since.
You've reached quite a milestone. You were hoping for 12,000 subscribers.
Yeah. How do you stalk me like that? How do you know?
You're hoping for 12,000 subscribers in 12 months, and you managed to do that in about 9 months.
Yes, I did that in 9 months.
How amazing is that?
It's a beautiful feeling, because when you get into this kind of space, the first thing people do is not care. So the factor that they actually took some note tells me a long story, actually. It tells me to myself that, okay, I've used my experience well. Some people think I'm a plant, and I'm like, yes, it's true. I planted myself, so I'm very good. I'm good at these type of stuff. But it also tells me that they're interested in what I want to say. And this 12,000, although it's not concentrated in one country, South Africa, it's in different countries. So different countries, through my demographics, it's, let's say, evenly spread. So I'm pretty happy of, you know, where it's going. Algorithms are hard to manage. You know, one day you're popular in South Africa, one day you're popular in Kenya, Uganda, you name it. So yeah, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
Okay.
Love it.
Lots of composure you have, sir.
Thank
under
you.
the circumstances of, you know, the work that you're doing, which is really intense. I mean, I would imagine this Shark Tank really has a challenge, because you really want to make a difference and help young people with some really complex challenges. We're going to talk more about that, and we also are going to be talking to our guest. Listen, I got to say this right, otherwise I'm going to lose my brownie points. Galston Anthony, the best to ever do it. Yes, Ali Lili in the background. It is 30 minutes past 3 p.m. We're going to check in with Fix Lingwati, who's got the latest in sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.